Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, Real Live, and with the real host, the agent. I thank you all for joining me as always, and I'm happy to have you. As always, I like to begin my show talking about the latest real estate trends, what's going on in the wonderful world of real estate. So, first, as before we begin, please, if you're already not following me, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Thread, Snapchat, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I'll greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, let me get right into it. When it pertains to the wonderful world of real estate, we always see houses out there that look extremely nice, and then we also see a lot of houses that don't look so good at all. And a lot of homeowners, when they selling their property, sometimes some take the care to do everything that's necessary in order to making sure that they maximize the sale of their home and get the most as possible. While others feel as though, well, the neighbor house sold for X amount of dollars, my house should sell for more, but they don't put the work in. One of the things I want to talk about, because many people, when they're actually selling their home, they know about doing painting, they know about doing carpeting, but some people, they tend to slack when it pertains to the curb appeal. Now, the curb appeal is very crucial, whether people realize it or not. I've had plenty of buyers that we actually pulled up in front of a home, and many buyers said, "Never mind, I don't want to go into it." And I'll be like, "But we already drove here." And they'll be like, "Well, I already know that I'm not interested in this home." Sometimes they're actually turned off by the neighbors, the neighborhood, or the curb appeal. I always say this, that if you're thinking about selling your home, please invest in curb appeal. Right now, the weather is shifting to where it is starting to get warm. And as it's starting to get warm, you can fertilize your grass, you can hire landscapers, you can do it yourself. It just takes a little bit of effort that goes a long way. The curb appeal is crucial also when photographers are taking pictures of home and then people see the outside. A lot of times they can tell if that particular homeowner took care of the home, and that they feel as though if they're taking care of the outside, that they're definitely taking care of the inside. I say that to say because many houses now are starting to sit on the house longer, especially if they are overpriced and if they don't show well. But one of the things that make the homes don't show well is actually the curb appeal. If you don't invest into the curb appeal of your home, don't expect to always necessarily receive that on when you sell the home. The curb appeal is very crucial. There are plenty of people who love when they pull up to a home, and that feeling and that energy that they get that comes from the home. So if you're thinking about selling your home, I'm strongly advising you to invest in the curb appeal. It's just simple things: cutting grass, cutting the bushes, putting fertilizers down, making sure it's neat, removing all trash from the outside, making sure the trash bins are in the appropriate areas but out of the way. Just making sure that your house looks like it was taken care of. Even though people buy houses for various reasons, many times when buyers are buying a house, they like to feel as though when they're going into a home, that if they choose to pick that home, that they don't have to do as much. A lot of people like to go into new things that have been well taken care of, because that means less work on them. So I just say that to a lot of people, because a lot of people are slacking when it pertains to curb appeal. It's just sometimes unbelievable. Everybody wants top dollar, but nobody's willing to do anything with their home because they're comfortable in their home because they've been living in it for so long, which is completely understandable. But you have to understand that when you're inviting people over, just like if you invite someone into your home, you would not want to invite them into your junky home. You wouldn't want to invite them into your clean home. And the same thing applies when it pertains to when people pull up, especially if you're trying to sell your home. The curb appeal, like I keep saying, is very, very crucial, because I think a lot of people don't understand how crucial that it really is, to the point where people have been lackadaisical. They just don't care. They feel like, oh, my house is worth whatever they think their house is worth. And then when their house is sitting on the market for a while, of course, yes, it's mainly what's going on the inside, but the outside plays the role too. Some people don't like the way houses look. They don't like it, okay? They don't like the colors on the outside. They don't like, it's many reasons, but you can do the best you can do to make your house the best house on the block. And that way it would give it an extra incentive when it pertains to trying to sell it, because you always want to give yourself an edge. One edge is having extremely good curb appeal. So I want to talk about that. And I also want to apologize to all the people on Instagram. There are people said they haven't seen me on Instagram. And that's because with this technology, whenever I come on, I'm supposed to click on something on Instagram that I have not been doing. So I do apologize for that. But I'm going to be right back with my Q&A, my questions and answers, and my um, rollover. Okay, all right. Well, I thank you for coming back and joining me. Q&A, which is questions and answers. So if you all have any questions, please always feel free to ask me. So I'm trying to get to this question real quick. All right. Okay, first question is, how can the HOL sell your home if you are late on fees? How can the HOA sell your homes if you are late on fees? That's a good question. I saw this week on Instagram where someone, I think it was in Texas, lost their home because their HOA sold their home. Now, here's the thing. Most homes have mortgages, okay? Most mortgages are considered the first lien and the majority lien, meaning that if you owe on HOAs, but yet you have a mortgage, you can't, the HOA does not supersede the first lien. So that's why in many cases when people have a mortgage, but they have not paid their HOA, that their houses have not gone to foreclosure. Because like I said, the HOA can put a lien against your property, but they can't force a foreclosure. Now, if you don't owe anything on your home, you owe no mortgages, all right, and you are behind on your HOA, they can slap a lien on your property and a writ to foreclose because you owe them. Now, many people tend to think that because they're HOAs, that, oh, I'm just not going to pay them, because some HOAs, let's just be real, some HOAs don't do anything. They're supposed to provide exterior maintenance, exterior insurance. They're supposed to do trash and snow removals. In some case, sometimes it's access to the community pool or what's going on in your community, amongst other things. But some HOA communities don't do anything, and some people are actually paying every month and they don't feel like they're getting anything in return, so they just stop paying. But you have to always understand that when you bought your home, whatever you signed and everything, you have to honor those things, because those things can and will be brought up in a court of law if you do not. So how can the HOA sell your homes if you're late on your fees? If you don't have a mortgage against your property. Because if you're late on your fees, they can slap a lien against your property. They cannot do a writ to foreclose, because the mortgage is the first lien that supersedes any other liens against the property. So the other question is, how can someone own your home on unpaid real estate taxes? How can someone own your home on unpaid real estate taxes? It's very similar to the HOA. If there is no lien against the property, meaning if there's no first lien like the mortgage against the property, when it pertains to taxes, you do understand, or you may not understand, that there's a tax sale that is given up, in which it's put in on the websites, in the newspaper, that 1234 Main Street owes $7,000 in taxes, and this property would be for sale at the tax lien. At the tax sale. And if an investor comes along and pays, and you have no mortgage against your property, no first lien, and you only owe taxes and you don't pay your taxes, they can, again, because the taxes is now the lien against your property. And it's like when they do a lien against your property, they can do a writ for foreclosure. And that's when they can transfer title over to the new buyer's name. See, people, that's why there's a lot of tax sales out there. But when there are tax sales, like I said, if there's a first lien against the property, a lot of times they can't oversee the first lien. But when there are no liens, meaning the house is completely paid off and you owe taxes, that's how investors end up getting properties, especially in this area in DC, where a lot of people paid off their homes many years ago. Unfortunately, family members pass away. And when family members pass away, Other family members don't know what's going on. They don't know taxes owed on it. Next thing you know, the house is sold and they can't figure out why. Well, that's why, because it's been sold in a tax lien. So, okay. And the other question is real estate still a good wealth builder? Because I've heard it's a trap. Is real estate still a good wealth builder? Because I heard it is a trap. Now, that is a very good question. Okay. Here's the thing. Over the years, the value of homes, have gone up tremendously. We're in 2025. You go back to year 2000, a lot of homes that are priced at 500,000 probably were priced at 100,000 or maybe even less back then. The value has gone up. Therefore, the equity is lower today than it was back then. At one point in time, if you buy a lot of real estate, equity grew quickly. As your equity grew, you can pull money out of your home in the form of a HELOC, meaning a home equity line of credit, or you could refinance, take money out. And also, when you own a home, your home can always be used as collateral. If you ever notice when you fill out an application, no matter what you fill out, it always asks you, do you own or do you rent? The reason why it asks you, do you own, is because if you own, and once they verify your credit and it ties it to a mortgage and everything, your approval rating goes up. The reason it goes up is because they know they can slap a lien against your property. That's why they ask you, do you own or if you rent? Because again, if you own, your approval rating goes up, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to approve you if you own property, especially the longer that you owned it, because they know that equity has built up in your home. So real estate is a good means to still to build wealth. You just have to be smart about it. Like I previously mentioned, when it pertains to real estate investing, a lot of people think, oh, because what they see on HGTV, they go on Zillow, they have a cousin who owned a real estate license 25 years ago, and which that's outdated. The information their cousin had, I don't care if they didn't own it within the last year, their information is outdated. It's like the software on your smartphone. You get your software updated every couple of months to give you the latest information on your phone to be updated. Same thing when it pertains to information, when it pertains to real estate. That's why, as real estate professional, we have to take continuing education every 2 years for a reason. We have the latest information. So again, when people say, oh, my cousin this or my uncle that, and they're currently not into it, their information is outdated. But again, you have to be smart when it pertains to real estate investing, because of the fact that if you're not, you can lose a lot of money. And people have lost a lot of money. That's probably why the person said they feel like it's a trap, because they don't know the correct formula. They didn't do things the right way. They just hopped in it, and everybody think they're going to become a millionaire getting into real estate. Well, here's the thing. Everybody wants to try real estate, but truth be told, real estate is going to try you. No matter what form or fashion, whether you're a real estate agent, appraiser, or investor, it's going to try you. So real estate still is a good mean as far as building wealth. It just moves slowly as far as the equity is built up. You gain wealth over time. You don't gain wealth instantly. Like nowadays, they have cryptocurrency, and you have other things when it pertains to the IUL life insurance policy. These are other things that people are getting into that helps them build money, because in life insurance, there are products that helps to build wealth quicker than when it pertains to real estate. But real estate still is a good means to having your financial portfolio. So I hope I answer all of your questions. So I'm be back with the house of the week and talk about rollover briefly. Hold on. All right, y'all. So I'm coming back with my house of the week. Where are we at? Right here. This is the house of the week. Now, last week I shared this home, and I just wanted to show you all how quickly I move. As you all can see, it says pending. It's under contract right away. As you know, for me, I like quality over quantity, so I always get the finer things, such as the finest pictures. So I just want to go over this home quickly. As you all can see, I love the area view of this property. This property is currently under contract. I'm about to put some more on the market, but if you're interested in selling your home as well and getting the same quality experience, please let me know, because I do believe in making sure that all of my clients are taken well care of. So I just wanted to show you the house of the week again from last week. I have another one coming up in Manassas, Virginia, another one coming up in Suitland, a couple of them coming up in Washington, D.C., one coming up in Atlanta, another one coming up in Greenbelt. So as you can see, I'm all over the DMV area. But I wanted to quickly talk about this just to show you this house. This is the result I do, the work that I do, and I hope that you'll understand that every house that I touch turns to sold. All right, y'all. I want to briefly talk about rollovers. Okay. Someone asked me what is a rollover. Okay. Basically, a rollover, if you own a TSP, 403B, 401k, you can actually roll over your funds into an annuity, a Roth IRA, a IUL life insurance policy. And depending on which product that you actually roll it over into can determine how much your money grows and how much that you don't lose. As you know, last week, twice within a week, the stock market crashed, and a lot of people who have money tied to the stock market lost a lot of money. Now, I deal with people, I work with people who help people to roll these things over and to help their money grow and also to ensure that you never lose money again. Yes, never lose money, no matter if the stock market crash or not. It'll just be leveled off. But at the same time, your money grow. And we have a product right now that if you roll your money over into it, you get a 10% bonus. So let's say hypothetically you had 100,000, you rolled it over. You instantly day one get 10%, which will be 10,000. You can also take up to 10% of the money as well too. So that 10% that you get, you can take that, you can roll it over into another product like a Roth IRA, or you can dump it into an IUL life insurance policy to help your money grow. These are different streams of financial strategies to help your money grow because we all want to gain and earn money. We don't want to lose money like it did with the S&P and the stock market. So if you're interested in learning more, please check out my other website, which is Your Wealth Agent Damon, yourwealthagentdamon.com. Again, that's yourwealthagentdamon.com. And you can scroll down to the bottom, see the information. Also, my numbers on there. So you can we can set up an appointment to help your financial portfolio grow because moving forward, we all want to thrive. We just don't want to survive. So, and I'm coming back with my topic of the day, y'all. Please stay tuned because I want everyone to hear this. Okay. Welcome back. Now, I thank you all for joining me. Please follow me on all social media platforms if you're not following me already. I greatly would appreciate it. Now, I want to talk about sibling rivalries, y'all. Sibling rivalries. Many people have brothers and sisters, many people are not getting along with their brothers and sisters. I was just speaking to someone a couple of days ago, and she was telling me how her mother and her aunt, her mother's sister, are at odds. They're not speaking. And I have grown kids. I have two daughters. I have four daughters totally, including, 4 daughters, 1 son, but 4 of my kids are grown. 2 of my grown daughters are not really speaking because of one of them. And it reminds me of, many people may or may not know, but I had 3 brothers. Yes, the key word is had. I had 3 brothers. I no longer have my brothers. Unfortunately, all 3 of them have passed away. On top of that, 2 of them were to gun violence in DC. And one of my brothers I was real close with. And we used to fight all the time. We used to fight from when we were younger all the time. I'm talking about fist fight. People probably don't know. We used to fight all the time. So prior to him passing away, we were at odds. Like, we're adults now, so we haven't fist fights since we were adults, but we were at odds. And he stopped past my house. And when he stopped past my house, I was kind of wondering, like, what you doing here? This is the attitude I had. What are you doing here? But he stuck his hand out as to squash the beef between him and I. And I shook his hand, and his hand was cold. And I'm like, why your hand so cold? And he was like, I don't know. But he stopped by, shook my hand and everything. So then my kids who were younger at the time, they were playing, everything. They distracted me. I turned, looked at them. He got in his car. Then he ended up driving off. Now, he passed away that night. This was on September the 20th, 2003. If he did not stop past to speak to me or anything, I probably will always live with us being at odds. And I say that to say that ever since he's been gone, there's been plenty of times I've thought about him. I've wished he was here. All the bickering that we had, it was meaningless. I say this to say that even with siblings, like sometimes you can hate somebody so bad. The reason why you hate a person so bad is because you really love them so much. And that's why I say it's a thin line between love and hate, because the passion and desire you have for someone is that strong that the more you hate them is really the more that you really love them. And I say that to say that, like my brother, I didn't like my brother for a lot of things that he did. But when he was gone, I was hurting so bad. It's too many sibling rivalries going on. People are bickering and arguing over jealousy, envy, money. Money is the root of all evil. It's not money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil, because we put money before people. That's why people kill for money. People rob for money. People hurt for money. We put money over people, and money comes and go. You can lose $1,000 today, $100,000 tomorrow, and you'll get it back. If you earned it, you'll get it back one way or another, even if it's over time. But you'll never be able to get back the relationship or the people you've lost over time. I miss my brothers dearly, and I don't have any brothers. I don't have any siblings. I didn't grow up with any sisters either. I say this to say that whoever you are out there, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please, please, please reach out to your siblings. I know that, oh no, I'm not speaking to them. And especially in the Black community, we're always good for holding grudges. I'm not speaking to them. They did me wrong. They were disrespectful. And yes, they may have been disrespectful. They might have did you wrong. But God says you ought to forgive them like God has forgiven you, because God has given all of us grace. He's given everybody grace. There's plenty of things we've done that we shouldn't have been forgiven for. That if he were to take us today and we will be standing before God, we will wish that he given us forgiveness. And guess what? God has already forgiven us, but we are here on earth and we can't even forgive our sibling. Think about this. If somebody does something to your sibling, you should, and in most cases, we're going to be there to back them up. Somebody jump your sibling, you're going to be there to back them up. Somebody say something bad about your sibling, 9 times out of 10, you're going to defend them. But you can't even speak to your sibling because you're holding grudges over something petty and something small. They're your blood. We were all given siblings for a reason. That should be the closest bond and friendship that you have. But unfortunately, many families these days, no matter what age they are, whether they're teenagers or whether they're in their 70s or 80s or 90s, are having this sibling rivalry with each other, and you don't even understand. And it's sad because sometimes people don't care when they pass away. They act like they care. They want to talk like they care so people can sympathize for them and give them money, but they really don't care. And I say this to say that, in the world that we live in, it's unfortunate that people lie on each other. It's unfortunate that people steal from each other. It's unfortunate that there's so much jealousy and envy amongst each other. But if we were to unify, we would be so much stronger and better than we are being individualized. I say that to say that there's so much sibling rivalries going on out here that it's hard to have a relationship with your sibling who don't respect you, who don't love you, who takes advantage of you. You know, a lot of times these sibling rivalries is sometimes one person is fed up because they've given all that they can give over time. They've given enough. But what I've realized this also over time is a lot of times people do things because they don't know better. You think that because people are of age and they're over a certain age that they should know better. Truth be told, a lot of people don't know better. They're not as smart as you. Your siblings are really not as smart as you when you think about it. They still stuck in time. That's why when you hold conversations with some people today, no matter what age they're going to be over 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. They still talking like they 15. You know why? Because mentally they haven't evolved. They haven't matured. So when you know better, you should do better. And as a sibling, when you realize that your sibling is who they are, you have to treat them accordingly. Me, them, mean giving them, keep them at a distance, but at the same time, still love on them and respect them. In the world of technology today, you don't ever have to call people. You can actually text them and say, listen, I was thinking about you. I hope all is well. That's it. If they don't respond, guess what? You did your part. But you never know what people are going through on the other end because you haven't spoken to your siblings in a while. You don't know what they're dealing with. And I just say this to say that many cases, our parents will want us to get along with our siblings. But in many cases, we ain't getting along. And sometimes it's jealousy, envy, hatred. It's a lot going on in our family. And that's why I've also said in the past that us as Black people, we're still dealing with the after effects of slavery. The trauma has passed down to generation to generation and it has never been dealt with. That's why you can see many families, especially Black families, going through the same thing. So the only thing I have to say is about sibling rivalries, please give your siblings grace. You are the smarter one of your siblings, whether you realize it or not. So because you are the smarter one, also be the better one. Reach out to them one way or another through text and pray for them. You ain't got to like them. Hell, you ain't really got to deal with them. Respect them, love on them from a distance, and be the best sibling you can from a distance. It has to start with somebody. Why not start with you? I'll be back to do a recap, y'all. All right. Again, thank you all for joining me. Please follow me on all social media platforms. I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Pinterest, Threads, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Listen, y'all, I talked about curb appeal. Many sellers want to sell their house for top dollars, but they giving their house the bare minimum. If you want to sell your house for top dollar, you have to put some work into it. It's becoming spring and summertime. As the weather becomes nice, your curb appeal should become nicer too. Go outside, do your yard, paint on the front if you need to, make your house look presentable, and make it feel like a home, not just a house when you're trying to sell it. And 9 times out of 10, that will lure people in it because you'll be surprised. Sometimes people drive past houses, and then sometimes you wonder why you're not getting any showings. The curb appeal says a lot about you, especially if you lived in a house for a while. And then I also talked about the rollover. Listen, if you're currently in a financial crisis, or if you're in the government and you're worried about your money, and if you lost money in the S&P, consider a rollover into an annuity, a Roth, a IUL. Help your money grow, especially annuity. Because did you know that there are some annuity products right now that pay out instantly? Yes, pay out instantly. Some of them pay out 5 years, 10 years, and of course, the longer it takes, the more money that you get that pays out later on. But you'll be surprised. And if you don't know and you want to learn more, please reach out to me so I can connect you to my team and we can help your money grow. That's yourwealthagentdamon.com. And I just talked about sibling rivalries. Listen, y'all, whether you realize it or not, we have some dumb siblings, okay? I'm just going to say it. Some people have some dumb siblings. You have a dumb brother, you have a dumb sister. You're the smarter one. Stop holding grudges against a person who's ignorant. How you going to be just as ignorant as your sibling when you allow them to bring you down? A lot of times what I always say is when you know better, do better. So being as though that you're the bigger sibling as far as intelligence is concerned, be the smarter one too. They don't know any better. So it takes you to be the one that let stuff go, forgive, pray for your sibling, reach out to them via text if you don't want to talk to them. Or if you are a talker and they're a talker, call them. Just say, hey, you've been on my mind. I hope all is well with you. That's a simple text. Hey, I've been thinking about you. I hope all is well with them. You never know. It might open the door because all this bickering and pettiness that we're fighting over, it'll be meaningless if your sibling passed away today. Because like I said in the beginning, I've lost all 3 of my brothers. And my brothers that I was closest with, we were always fighting. We was even up until the day he passed away, we were at odds. And I thank God that he stopped by and squashed the beef with me because at least that gave me peace when he did pass away. And I missed him ever since he been gone.
If he was here today, I wouldn't care about none of that other stuff. And I know many of you are saying, "Oh, that's you." And I wish my sibling passed away. Yeah, you say that until it actually happened, and then you're gonna have a lot of regrets. Please don't hold no regrets. Please do your best. Please pray for your sibling, and please send them a message today to say, "I was thinking about you. You was on my mind. I hope all is well." Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you next Friday at 12 noon. And this has been Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, Real Live with the Real Secrets of Money with your host, myself, Damon the Agent.